Michigan lawmaker thinks that COVID vaccine passports are a bad idea. He says residents shouldn't have to prove that they've had the vaccine when they go to shop, travel, or work.
You'd need to show a form of identification that shows your confidential medical history, like the vaccine, getting the vaccine, or having had COVID, to go to a restaurant, go to a bar.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer's administration has not proposed a vaccine passport and has not publicly discussed whether it would take that step. So far, New York is the only state issuing a COVID passport, which can be downloaded via an app or printed out. Abroad, both Israel and the European Union are planning to issue what's being called a green passport, which will be required to enter certain venues and to travel freely. That doesn't sit well with LaFave, and he's working on a bill that would ban vaccine passports in Michigan and establish penalties for violators.
We're looking at what we call a civil cause of action. So if you go into a gas station and they demand a vaccine passport for entry, the first time that happens, it could be $1,000 fine. If you're the victim of this incident, you get the $1,000 and your attorney's fees paid for.
But medical industry expert from the conservative think tank The Heritage Foundation, Ed Heiselmeyer, says the idea of making the vaccine passport mandatory might be moot.
By the time you sort out the legal and practical issues, this is all going to be over. So, we're rapidly getting towards, and I realize this doesn't, you may not think so in Michigan, but we are rapidly progressing towards a situation where the population is by and large has herd immunity. I mean, we're now up to over a third of the population total having received a vaccine.
Heiselmeyer says he doesn't see requiring proof of vaccination being popular here because some businesses would suffer.
Say there's no rule either way, and one bar says you have to show proof of vaccination to get a drink, and another bar doesn't. Well, who's going to have more business? The bar that doesn't.
That sentiment is being echoed by Brian Calley, who heads up the Small Business Association of Michigan. Calley says although the legislation has not been introduced, businesses in the state don't want to police workers or patrons in this way.
Whatever the rules end up being, I think it's pretty clear that the majority of small business owners do not want to be in a position to have to enforce on employees. And in most cases, they don't even want to have to ask.
But LaFave is not taking any chances.
I don't want to give up on an idea of a free nation where you don't need to show paperwork every time you want to go to the gas station. I just don't think that's appropriate.
Your neighborhood Capitol Beat reporter, Erica Murphy, Fox 47 News.